I went to physical therapy and I did everything that I could to try to get back to that level, because I always found when I had sports and I had that structure of the schedule and just the ability to move my body, everything else in my life went a lot smoother. So the way that my brain worked, and I wasn't diagnosed with it until 2 years ago, but I have ADHD. And so I had an IEP growing up. So I needed extra time to take tests, and focusing was always an issue. But when I was able to move, you could tell a clear difference of everything going better.
It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. You know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 202. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. So, hi. So, it's been a busy day for us. I had to drive to work and then drive back home.
Drive back
and then
to work.
Drive back to work and then drive back home and then drive back to work and then drive back home to do this.
But it was a good reason.
It was. They're doing COVID vaccines where I work, and I was able to get my son in. He's 16, and so they were doing Pfizer's today, which is approved for 16 and up. And good thing we nagged him to bring his driver's license, because they did not believe he was 16.
Really?
Yeah. She was like, "How old are you?" And he was like, 16. And she's like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Do you got an ID?" And he's like, "Uh-huh." And she was like,
Oh,
okay. Yeah. But she was...
wow.
Because at first she stopped, because I think they're just so used to it's 17 and up.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Oh, it's a Pfizer day." But like, you don't look... She wasn't convinced. So, yeah.
Shoo. Well, good thing he brought it.
Absolutely.
Good thing he knew where it was.
It was a good thing. So, and just like a kid, right? Just like a kid that, you and I do the Moderna trial, and then this little bastard goes and gets the Pfizer, right? Everything we do to help him out, and he turns around and betrays us by getting the Pfizer vaccine.
Dude, I'm just glad he has a vaccine of any kind.
And Pfizer or Moderna won't let him. So
I know. And he was so happy.
He was.
And I know you're just joking.
Yes. He was bouncing off the walls. I've never seen a kid so happy to get a needle stuck in his arm.
No, it's been a weird year.
Kid.
It's been a weird year. Kids want to go back to school and get shots.
I know. What has happened? What has happened? And then real quick, a funny incident this morning.
What's that?
Or yesterday, actually, when you were cleaning the house.
I don't know.
And you were straightening up the bedroom, and you found a box you were going to throw away.
Seriously? You were going to do this? So you're going to out me like that? Are you kidding me?
And then what happened? I don't seem to fully remember.
All right. Look, this is hard to admit, everybody. I found an order of Peloton clothes that I had completely forgotten about.
You didn't even remember they existed. They were still sealed in the bag.
Yeah.
They weren't cheetah print or hearts on fire.
No.
But you almost threw away another. They were in another box.
Yep.
And then you almost threw away that box at the last minute. You were like, "Let me take a peek." And surprise.
Yeah. Pair of leggings and a shirt.
How about that?
Yeah.
That would be like
that's better than finding a 20 in your pocket, let me tell you.
Yeah. It's like finding 4 or 5 20s in your pocket. It'd be like if I opened something up and was like, "Oh, there's that Monkey CD I forgot I purchased." But that's never happened, because so clearly I don't have too many Monkey CDs, but you might have too many Peloton items.
So
if you, hopefully you can hear the look she's giving me right now. And that one. Oh, make that a gift, John Mills. There it is. There it is. Yeah. That's the look. If you only knew how many times I got that look in real life.
A day.
Right. So anyway, enough of all that. What, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
Well, we have lots to discuss. Update on yet another lawsuit issue. We've got more Eric Valencia news, just for fun.
He's like a bad penny.
Yes. And we are going to give an update on Peloton Closet. The closet is closed. And then we have our tonal contest is kicking off.
Give you all the details on how you can win a tonal.
Yes. And we have Dr. Jen is back this week. We're going to talk about changing strategies when your goals change. And of course, all of the Peloton news, all of the things happening with all the instructors. We have it all wrapped up for you.
Okay, well, before all that, shameless plugs. Don't forget, we are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your podcasts. You can find us while you're there. Be sure and subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can also, while you're there, leave us a review. And we have a new review.
Oh, yay.
This is from David 8.
Okay. Like the number 8?
The number 8.
Okay.
He must have been on Apple early if he's the 8th David.
Yeah, that's fair.
It says, great Peloton information. My first podcast that I listened to, and now I listen every week.
Aww.
They discuss all the great things about Peloton and do mention the problems Peloton has. We try to, you know,
try to be fair.
Every once in a while they got one and we bring it up.
Yeah.
The podcast has many enjoyable guests. Best part, it keeps me motivated to keep exercising. So thank you, David 8.
That is the best part. I love hearing that. Congratulations and thank you for listening and leaving us a kind review.
Absolutely. And then you can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/real spoilers while you're there.
Whoa.
Whoops. It's been a while since I've done that. Facebook.com/the clip out.
There you go.
While you're there, like the page, join the group. And I got to sneak in some. That's a shameless plug within a shameless plug.
That it is.
It's like Inception. And what else? Oh, you can sign up for our newsletter at theclipout.com. And of course, watch all of these shows on YouTube at youtube.com/theclipout. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Run, lift, and live with John Mills.
So joining us today from Run, Lift, and Live, it's John Mills. Hey, how's it going?
Doing well. How's it going?
Good.
Plug it along.
I didn't recognize you in that Peloton shirt.
No.
I didn't
This
see.
is like my Grandpa Shark shirts. I don't have enough Grandpa Shark shirts. They're all dirty.
It'll be back next week.
That's all right. I'll hit Amazon after this. Give me something to order. Erica gets all the packages. I need some packages coming.
Yeah, you do. You do. Let's see. What are we talking about this week, Tom?
Peloton in court. Who's suing Peloton now?
Ta-da, that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
How about
Okay. So who is it this week?
Yeah.
Looks like
Another
we'll-
lawsuit.
another lawsuit.
We'll spin the wheel.
This week it's Icon, right?
yeah.
Yes. It's,
yeah.
NordTrack.
Yeah. So,
NordTrack.
okay, I opened this article, John, that you had, and it wanted me to pay for it, so I didn't read it.
Yeah,
So, like,
I ain't paying for that.
lay it out for me. What's the deal? What we got going on? They're
So I
suing
guess
them
there's
again?
some. Yeah, I thought they had already had a lawsuit against them about the auto follow feature.
They
but
did.
Maybe I'm wrong.
They did. No,
But
they
so
totally did.
Okay, this one seems like it's a little more involved because I guess there's some patent that includes not only auto follow or a mechanism that will increase resistance, but will also do something relative to transitioning into strength training. Like, so they have some patent that incorporates both. And so they're trying to tie that to Peloton's auto follow and the fact that in the class, it tells you when you're supposed to go pick up a weight, right? They're trying to tie these two things together to one of these patents.
Boy, that
So-
sure sounds like a stretch, doesn't it?
I guess that's why there's a new lawsuit.
The fourth one.
Wow.
When you got lawyers on retainer, it's like you might as well.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
That's right.
you might win one.
Yeah.
You might.
Somebody's got a lotto. Might as well be you.
Yeah.
They're in there spitballing.
Yeah.
And they're just,
Well, so yeah. Okay. Well, I don't think they're going to get anywhere with this. I'll be honest. I think this is going to be a big fat fail.
I think it probably will be as well. I don't know how far this is going to go, but I don't know. You never know. I didn't think the lawsuit that Eric Villency had against him, I thought he actually had a case, and turns out he didn't.
Yeah, he
I don't know.
sure
We'll see.
didn't. Hey, his name's going to be coming up here again
Yeah,
shortly, though. So hang on to that. Hang on to your evil jokes.
Well, before we get to that, you found an interesting article about just a little bit of background on canceling trademarks in relation to Peloton and Mad Dog and the word spin.
Right. Yeah. So Mad Dog owns that that trademark, spin and spinning, and have for a couple decades now.
Right.
And they fought vigorously to stop folks from using that term. You can't use spin, can't use spinning, it's indoor cycling. And but now Peloton has challenged them with regard to that, saying that that's kind of a generic term now, and you can't have a generic term as a trademark term.
Right.
Right. So Peloton's trying to get that removed, like cancel that trademark. I thought, how could they do that? They don't really have a case there. But I've been reading a lot of articles where in talking to it, the test to determine if something is generic, this kind of seems to fall in line with the test. And thus, I think they might have a case. And so this article is talking to that. It's like, well, the tests are, are there publications where it's being used generically? And there are a whole bunch of them.
There's a whole bunch.
Peloton was able to produce a whole bunch of publications, a whole bunch of big name magazines and newspapers.
Did you say it was like New York
that use the
Times,
term.
Washington Post, like they've all used it generically?
Right. And then the second test is, well, what does the public think? And so this article is suggesting that if Peloton's able to produce some type of survey that shows that the general public
Ooh, let me
has
fill it
no
out.
association of that to Mad Dog.
But you would have to lie.
And
No, I would not. I know it now. But whenever we started this podcast, we were going to use the word spin.
We were.
And somebody reached out to me and was like, no, Mad Dog owns that. Somebody had to stop me because I had no idea that word was trademarked until we went to go start this podcast.
Yeah. Do you want to know what we were going to call
Right.
it? Do you want to know
Yeah,
what we were going to call it? Spin City.
We were.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
And then
well, maybe after this suit, you could just go back to that.
Well, I get sued by Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to meet Michael
Oh,
J. Fox. So, like,
So,
Okay.
it's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
Yeah. I'd be like, sir, before I sign over my house to you, can I get a quick picture? Would you sign my flux capacitor?
Talk to your man, Howie.
Yeah.
Howie can work it out.
So Mad Dog just wants to make sure everyone knows that it's not spinning unless it's from the spinning region of France. Otherwise, it's just sparkling indoor cycles.
I didn't follow.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Go with it, John.
Someone will understand
with it. I'll go with
I
it.
promise someone will understand it.
Well,
Someone will,
somebody out there understands. Would you please send me a note?
they will explain it to you later.
Like, stop in the middle of the podcast and send me a note, because then I know you're listening. Like right
Everyone
then.
will race to explain that joke to you.
Okay. I can't wait till Friday morning.
Yes.
I will know. All
I think
right.
they're going to run this survey, and the article's going, yeah, if they can get like 75% of the population to
I
say,
think
yeah,
they can.
we don't
I
know.
think they got a real
Then
strong point.
I think they do too.
I think it's going to be like 90+%.
I agree.
Yeah.
I really do, because I think most people say that. Like, how many people have been like, "Oh, you want to go to a spin class with me?" Like, you don't.
Right.
Before Peloton, people were saying that. You want to go to a spin class? Nobody said, "Would you like to go to an indoor cycling class with me?"
Yeah.
No one said that.
right.
No one
yeah.
said that.
The only people that say that are IP lawyers.
Yeah.
Everyone
God
else
love
is-
'em.
Everyone else is spin. So then you also came across an interesting
Oh
article.
no, this was me. I
this
found
was
this
you.
one.
Oh,
but
sorry.
I wanted to discuss it with John because it mentions his man Eric,
Yes.
and I said
Right,
earlier.
you sent this to me.
Yeah.
And that's all I saw in it. I was like, Eric's in this too?
Yeah.
He's
it's-
everywhere.
So okay, so let's go back in time. We're gonna, and that was backwards. And whenever
What the
I
heck?
Time sound.
we didn't go back that
Oh,
far.
sorry.
But when we first started the podcast, people used to talk all the time about a studio in Chicago called Studio 3.
Yes.
Okay, so you remember
Yes.
that. You remember that.
Yes.
That was a thing. And okay, so Peloton legend has it.
Lore.
Yes. Peloton lore has it that back in the day when Peloton first started, they had a deal with Studio 3, and Studio 3 in Chicago was going to be the second Peloton studio. That was going to be a thing. Then all of a sudden it just never happened, and like nobody ever talked about why.
And it had a bunch of Peloton
Right.
bikes in it.
Yeah,
though.
so like part of the legend is, and this is true, this part is absolutely true. Whenever you go to the bike, when you go to this gym, they have a whole bank of Peloton bikes, like tons of them.
I remember that.
Okay.
I remember
And
that. Yes.
those instructors, I forgot to mention this to you earlier, so I'm making sure to say it now. Those instructors, not only they teach on those bikes, they teach their own content on those Peloton bikes. Okay.
Right. Yes.
Okay, so you remember all this now. So then
I remember all this. Back then, I wanted to go to
Yes.
Chicago to go to this place.
It was a thing.
Because they kept saying it was a thing. They were talking about it's all Peloton bikes. It's all Peloton based. Right. I remember that.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it's somewhere along the line, it just kind of fell out of, like, no one talked about it anymore. It just went away. But like the studio still exists. I haven't heard about it till I came across this article today, and it says Studio 3 in it. I'm like, what is Studio? Wait, the same Studio 3? Sure enough. So here's the deal. This guy who's talking here, this guy that they're interviewing, he owns
David Blitz.
Thank you. He owns this like real estate thing, but also they have a whole health club chain. Okay. But the chain appears to only be Studio 3 in Chicago. Okay.
Right.
But they want to expand. Now, this is where it gets crazy. They start talking about their kits, which I've never heard anyone refer to a club as your kit. But this guy in the interview, he's like, oh, yeah, we've got a whole bunch of special bikes, special spin. Actually, I think he uses spin generically here.
How about that?
Special spin bikes that like they were designed by Eric Valenci, also the guy who designed Peloton bikes and Soul Bike. And I'm like, whoa,
Yes.
wait a minute. Those aren't specially designed bikes. Those are the Peloton bikes that they're from way back when.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so
man,
then
okay.
now he's
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about this huge expansion they're going to do, and they want to like have these clubs everywhere. Okay, but now combine that with the timing of the fact that, now I'm getting deep, John, you posted this week that there was a thing on Reddit that said that Peloton, hey, we're not going to sell to gyms anymore. So
Right.
what are the chances that this guy does an interview about they're going to buy all these Peloton bikes, and right after that, Peloton puts a kibosh on selling to gyms?
This is interesting here. This is interesting.
Every time Eric's name comes
Although-
up, it's weird.
Whenever Eric's name comes up, this is weird.
It's weird.
One caveat, though.
Yes.
I think I'll have to go back and look. I'm pretty sure I heard about a little over a year ago.
They stopped selling to
Someone
apartments.
went in there.
They stopped selling to apartments.
Some-
Go ahead. Sorry, you were going a different way.
Someone went to this Studio 3 in Chicago
Yeah.
and posted that all the bikes were different. I'm pretty sure I heard that.
Interesting.
Which has me wondering, like, yeah, I have no doubt that the bikes in Studio 3 still are Peloton-like.
But
it has me wondering,
Is he up to it again?
are they the...
Is he up to? Is he
Right.
over there designing another bike? Which is what Tom said. As soon as I started telling him the story, he's like, "Oh my God, he's going to design another bike for these people and call it a different bike because it's going to have like something different."
Right.
So here we go again.
That's what my thought is now. Now I'm wondering, like, what is that? Well, they said Eric Valenci, so that is his bike there. But I bet it's not a Peloton branded bike.
I don't know. It used to.
I bet it's a whole different bike.
It used to say
It used to
Peloton,
be.
but now I don't know.
It used to be.
So
right.
make of that what you will, all the listeners out there. But I thought it was interesting because it goes back in time on the Peloton history, and I find that fascinating. And the rest is
Yeah.
all complete conjecture on my part, and I have
Right.
no idea its accuracy or validity. I just got a little crazy when I saw his name and Peloton next to each other
Never
again.
see that guy's name. You got to start thinking. You got to
Yeah.
start thinking when you see his name.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, you found an interesting article about wearables and the plethora of wearables.
And where you think Peloton is headed with this their wearable. That's
I
really
find the
why.
whole space interesting now, right? Like, I
Yeah.
was never really into the wearables. I wasn't big into the trackers or the newer smart watches.
You don't have an
Well,
Apple
and so-
Watch, do you?
No, I
Okay.
don't have. I've been considering, but I don't have one. So once Peloton purchased out Atlas Wearables, now this has gotten me kind of interested in the space. Okay, what is going on with this space? And I thought, well, it was clear that Peloton is looking at like these fitness trackers. Like they're not really. It's clear. I mean, because Atlas Wearables doesn't really have smart watches. They don't have watches that you can control the volume of the music or answer a call or GPS tracking. It's not like that. It's just heart rate, activity based, things like that. But which made me think, is that really a space that how much can they get out of that?
That's what I keep wondering too.
Well, right. But this makes me think maybe it's bigger than I thought, because every time I turn around, there's another wearable dropping that's really aligned to just fitness tracking, not the smartwatch piece, just fitness tracking. So that's what I found interesting out of that. Here's another tracker. And Peloton's has like some unique features if you're just talking about trackers. The fact that it's not just, it can, measure how many steps you took or, how much activity you produced, but this watch that Peloton will now have as a part of the Atlas Wearables acquisition can tell if you're doing 1,000 different exercises. It's like, oh, that guy's doing push-ups. Let me count reps for push-ups. Oh, that guy's doing curls. Let me count reps for curls.
It can tell that
exactly
well?
what exercise you're doing. So that tells me that's kind of that's what it says it can do.
Yeah.
If it can truly do that, that tells me that there's an innovation in the tracker space relative to what Peloton will be able to produce.
I feel like
if
I'd
they
eat a
produce
donut and it'd be like, you did 6 reps.
Yeah, I'm super skeptical of how that can happen.
That worked out today.
Because
That worked out today.
I'm skeptical that it can really pick up on all those different exercises and auto detect. And the reason I say that is I've used a Whoop, I've used a Fitbit, I've used a Garmin, Garmin doesn't auto detect. Everything else I just said does. And the Apple Watch auto detects as well. The only thing, like Whoop sometimes will be able to tell, but it's like only if I do a vigorous activity. Like if I run,
Right.
like if I'm just like leisurely walking, it's
Right.
it doesn't care. It's like, yeah, that's nice. It
Right.
It
Right.
increases my heart rate goes up accordingly, but it's not enough to like trigger that like I did something. And if I like ride the bike, it never is like, oh, you just rode a bike. Do you want me to record? Do you want me to
Right.
record? It doesn't know. I mean, it says it's
Right, it
supposed to
doesn't.
know, but it doesn't. So
It doesn't know.
I'm super skeptical that it could be like push-ups and bicep curls. Like
Right.
that's so specific, and like there's so
I
many.
want to see this thing now.
Right. I'm skeptical of that, but I think you make a good point that there's if it works, there's
If
a lot
it
of
really
things.
does that, like they have like this watch that Atlas Wearables was about to produce never actually released.
Right.
Peloton acquired them before they actually released it. But they have like a video that this guy's wearing the new watch that's supposed to be coming out. And he doesn't do anything. He just starts doing push-ups. And the camera's just like focused on the watch on his arm. And it just automatically goes, oh, push-ups, and starts counting 1, 2, 3. So, I guess that's kind of cool.
It
I guess
is.
it's kind of cool. I mean, but take it off before you have sex, or that could get embarrassing.
This guy's doing a lot of sit-ups.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, just 3? You did 3 push-ups? Your heart rate went up. You were in like zone 3, but you did 3
But
push-ups.
you only did 3.
Yeah, that's,
Guy's not doing well.
yeah, and it drops off, and then it shows that you slept for 6 hours. You might want to send this wearable back. I think it's not functioning properly, sir.
But we're really going to have to test this thing out if it comes out.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
honey, I'd like to test
Figure
it
it
out.
Report back to us all. Yeah.
Sure. We'll do that. Why not?
We share so
Send
much.
the stats to Peloton too.
Yeah, that's.
As my friend JP said last night, that's mad TMI. Oh,
Well,
wow.
it's interesting, and I do think Peloton. I think that they're just looking for a way to like, oh, I think they know that they'll sell a bunch of them to people that they want everything to be in that same ecosystem.
And John, you brought up something else in your like synopsis that you always do, and
Right.
that is that like a thing that Peloton would have is like maybe there's a lot of people that wouldn't go buy one, but wrap it into what you're already getting with Peloton and your monthly subscription. Now you got people.
Right.
People are going to be like, well, I'm already paying
Right.
for it. Might as well.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking, well, a couple benefits. I guess the Whoop has a monthly membership, and if you want to, if they kind of just absorb this into your $39 you're already paying for your other connected fitness devices, I guess that'd be a benefit. You'd take that instead. And then second, like you just said, yeah, if you probably just go, oh, fitness tracker too. All right, add that to my
Yeah.
cart.
Yeah. Why?
Let's
in
get
for a
the whole
dime.
And then
bundle.
all of us,
In for a dime, in for a
Right.
dollar. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
and then all of us, I mean, all of us fanatics,
We're
as
gonna
soon as
be
it
like,
comes
well,
out, they're
I
just gonna
gotta
get
go
the
try
sale
it.
off of the fanatics.
I mean,
right?
I gotta try it. You gotta know for the show. For the show.
Sure.
You gotta try it out.
Right, right.
You're gonna have an Apple
mean-
Watch and a Whoop. You're gonna have to put that on your on. Do they have like an anklet?
I don't
that they
know.
can sell you.
I don't know. There's actually people that have taken the Apple Watch and the Whoop and put them together. They've managed to slide the arms off of this one into this one, and then like they wear them all as one device.
All as one.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Oh,
There are
wow.
people that do that. Yeah.
Sounds like a lot.
Yeah. I don't care enough.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it for this. Until next time, John, where can people find you?
Doing push-ups.
Doing push-ups.
Yeah, let us know if they send you guys the first prototypes. And we'll know something. They've been listening. We'll know. You can find me on Facebook at my Run Lift and Live page or my Run Lift and Live group. On Instagram, Run Lift and Live, or at runliftandlive.com.
Awesome. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
New content.
So it was announced this week that, or maybe not announced, but new Pilates classes were dropped. I guess they had some a while back.
Yeah, they had
and-
20 that had dropped before, and now these 20 just dropped.
Gotcha.
But the interesting thing is, well, there's a couple interesting things about it. One, I thought it was interesting that they referred to this as season 2.
Yes.
So I kind of think that means this is what we're going to start seeing. They're going to like have drop these classes, and then it'll be a significant time period, and then we'll have another drop. The other interesting thing is all new instructors. So this time we have Kendall, Rebecca Kennedy, Jess King, Allie Love, and Anna Greenberg. They all are doing these classes. We already had 20 that were on the roster, and those classes were from Kristen McGee, Sam Yo, Hannah Corbin, Emma Lovewell, and Aditi Shaw. So I find that kind of fascinating. And also it's interesting, they're adding 5 instructors, but there's only 20 of them. So that means each one only did 4 classes. Now, and don't get me wrong, I'm not like, that's not very many classes, but to call it a season and then like now we're not going to see this again till next year?
I wonder if...
Or is it like the fall season,
Yeah, I
spring
wonder if
season?
those seasons will start to get a little bit closer as they,
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about.
Yeah.
What is that going to look like?
I'm also surprised that they would drop 20 instead of like, if they're going to have a season, why not do like 2 a week to buy you more time? But I don't know.
I don't either.
But it does feed into to what I've been saying for a while, that they view it more as a TV station.
It does. It also kind of feeds into, and a lot of people are frustrated about this, so I'm sure that this will generate frustration for people, but it also speaks to when people are like, there's not that many classes on the schedule, and I keep saying, well, because of COVID, they only have so much time they can record in the
Right.
studio, and then they have all these things they're recording to drop on demand later, like this, and so there's things happening in the background that we don't know about
Right.
yet, and so that's part of why it's not just a constant number of classes a day.
Right. They'll
Yeah.
get there.
They will, but until then, there are people that are frustrated that it's not the way
Yeah.
it used to be. So, yeah,
Yeah, what are you going to do?
change is constant. That much we know.
New features.
Well, this is a really cool feature that I hope they roll out to other. I think a lot of people have been wanting this. It's a small tweak, but on an iOS device in the app, you can mix the audio from the instructor separately from the music audio.
Yeah, so it's like just like when you were taking a tread class or a spin class, an indoor cycling class.
Careful.
I know. Now you can do that same thing on your app with any of the classes. So I think that this is really good that they're rolling this out. It's good for people who only use the app to be able to do that because, if you're an app only user, you've never been able to have that feature that's built into the bike. Like that's one of the premium things. You also have to wonder, like, at some point they're adding so much to the app that it's like really, it's weird the way they break it out. Like I know that that's their loss leader.
Right.
But if everything that we get as part of the bike is also available for the app, what's the point?
Yeah. Totally. Like, yeah, because I mean, people already are like, well, why shouldn't I just get another bike and
Right.
pay $14.95 a month instead of $39.95 a month? Like, I spent the bigger chunk of money with you. A lot of people feel that those prices should be flipped.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I still see enough of a difference, but if those things keep changing, I mean, I'll always have it, but I can certainly see more people feeling that way. Like,
Totally.
I think that number's going to go up. So
Yeah.
curious to see what Peloton continues to do with that.
Absolutely.
It's a great feature to get added to the iOS device, though.
It is.
Peloton Closet. Step into the Peloton Closet with Tori.
So joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube for the last time?
Maybe?
Question mark? I don't know. It's Tori from Peloton Closet. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Crystal.
So your walk-in closet became a walk-out closet. What?
The closet may be closed.
Yeah.
Okay. So like you got a letter from Peloton and they said, eh, and,
Yeah.
and here we are. What exactly were the issues? Because people keep saying to me, well, she could just change the name. And I keep saying,
Right.
it's not just the name. So
it's a
you
little
tell
bit-
us.
A little bit more complex than that.
Right.
Yeah. So first of all, I have to, spill some truth here, which is that like Peloton Closet was never about me as a person. It's about a community. But I probably should fess up to the fact that I have legal training. I don't currently practice law, but I am an attorney. I passed the bar in the state of California and practiced law for a number of years. I went to law school and I learned intellectual property from like the guy who wrote a 5-volume treatise on intellectual property that is used at law schools across the nation. So I would like to own that I was fully aware that when I started this, the format I used, which was pictures of instructors and their outfits, that's copyrighted Peloton property. Like I knew that.
Let's dig into that just for a second, because I've had a lot of questions about that too. And so people keep saying, well, but how is that different than me posting a picture at the end of my ride? And how is that? Because Peloton owns all of that, but Peloton owns it. And most of us are just putting a picture up and that's the end of it. Right. And we'll get into exactly what you were doing. Like that makes it sound bad.
Very nefarious.
I know.
Should we pixelate your face and change your voice?
Change my voice. It's like, but the difference is that so I received a letter from Peloton, and like, let me say, it was really nice, friendly letter. They were complimentary of me. We're so grateful for your enthusiasm. Like, they didn't say you're a terrible person. We hate you, you suck. It was like, hey, we get that you're super enthusiastic and we admire that, but you've taken it too far. And the issue that they raised with me was that I was using their instructors, their name, their brand to promote clothing that is in competition with Peloton apparel. So they have their own clothing line. Now, you can talk about the fact that instructors are allowed to wear non-Peloton clothing. Mm-hmm. And that's on Peloton, right. That's not on me. But I seized on that and, told people where to get that. Because if you see the bra with a big P on it, you can probably go to the Peloton apparel website and find it. unless it's the leopard one. But
Or Hearts on Fire, or whatever it's called.
Or Hearts on Fire.
Yeah.
Yes. Or that's cheetah, actually. Leopard and cheetah, they're very similar.
They are.
That's something I've learned from running Peloton Closet. But I digress. So the issue is that the way that I was using the intellectual property was to promote other clothing lines that were not related to the Peloton apparel brand, which they've spent a lot of time and a lot of money to build up. And, they want Peloton users to buy their own apparel line and not for me to sort of sleuth out, oh, hey, you don't have to buy Peloton apparel. You can buy this other stuff. And that was the issue, was that I was using their intellectual property to divert essentially business that could have gone to their own apparel, but was going to competitors' apparel.
Okay.
So even though in most instances the stuff was no longer available for purchase, that was still troublesome to them?
I mean, I do not work at the Peloton intellectual property.
Which is good because you'd be fired if you did right now. Like they would have just given you a box and said, pack your desk. And
so I don't know. And like I said, I did take intellectual property in law school, but it was at 8 a.m. and I used to party a lot in those days. So I don't know.
It's
I'm sure there's some nuances.
I think it's nuances, and I think it's also probably like having some control over that, right? Like it's how it looks, it's how it appears, because it also could be that like, well, if you're sending all these people over to, I'm just going to pick on Adidas because they just did the partnership with Adidas. And so like, oh, well, if you're sending everybody over to Adidas to get all that stuff, well, now people might stop going over to Peloton to get their stuff, which we all know would never happen.
Yeah.
But you don't know what the next big thing is. And maybe the next big thing would pull us away from Peloton. They don't know that. And they have to, I know we were talking about this off air, they have to protect it, not just from the Peloton closets of the world, but from people that would do them harm, that don't love Peloton as a brand and would not have their best interest at heart.
Exactly. If they go to defend their intellectual property, they have to be able to say, we've done it across the board. We're not picking and choosing. Peloton Closet's super cool, so we're not going to hassle her. But, this person, we are. Like, it has to be across the board that they are defending their copyright, their trademark, whatever element of intellectual property that it is. So they are 100% justified in doing what they did.
I mean, it's kind of what, when we talk about Mad Dog and the trademark on Spin, like Mad Dog, I mean, has been a mad dog going after people that use Spin in a generic sense. And they've been blazing that trail for years, and even though they've been doing it, it's looking like there's a good chance that they might lose that, even though they have been doing those things. And if they hadn't been doing those things,
it would have happened a long time ago.
Yeah, it would have happened 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's just, I mean, I did take that class at 8 a.m, but I remember that much. That I know for sure. And let me just say, I guess the reason I did it, kind of knowing it was dicey, was that I started this. I mean, we talked about this when I first came on. Like, I thought I'd love to be able to show my friends and like 10 people on Reddit where to get some of these looks. This would be fun. I didn't think that I would have almost 24,000 followers in the space of 4 months. Like, that never occurred to me. I thought it would be fun to have like 2,000 followers. That would be insane.
Surprise!
Surprise. It's just my cross to bear. But, and it turned into a lot of work with additional followers. And that's, I didn't monetize. I didn't use an affiliate link. I didn't do any of that until I was at 10,000 followers, because it just got to be so much work. And everyone's like, you really need to do affiliate links so you can like try and get, a little bit of money off of this. And I mean, I guess I would say maybe my total profit from affiliate links has been $400. I mean, I have made money from other from doing, codes and, partnerships with brands, but the pure affiliate link is like it's like 2 cents a click.
Yeah, like you have to really generate some traffic to make money off affiliate links. Like
You
it's,
do.
Yeah.
it's a
It's
numbers
not paying
game.
the rent.
Yeah.
No.
And I mean, and that is a lot of work. I mean, we
It
have,
is.
obviously we put a lot of work into this, and we have ads. I think people know that because sometimes we say, "Here's an ad," and then we give you a promo
yeah,
code.
totally.
Like it's
and
not a
we've
secret.
been very transparent about that
I
process.
mean, it was what 2.5, 3 years practically before we got to the point where it was, enough to start doing that.
So we feel you and we get that. But I mean, from what I understand, that's kind of left you in a good place with all of this, right? Because like, since it was a massive amount of work, and I know you changed jobs recently, so I'm sure that's been a different, a different workload as well. So it's kind of, my understanding is that leaves you in a good place with all of this mindset wise.
Absolutely. Like, this couldn't have been more fun. I have had so many incredible experiences. I've met so many awesome people, like the two of you, for example, and just, other followers who I never would have met, but I have true relationships with. Like, these are people who I maybe have not yet met in person. I hope I will someday, but, we talk about real stuff.
Yeah.
And it's pretty crazy that you can actually form connections over the internet, and especially during such a weird time with COVID and so much disconnection. I'm so proud that I created a space where I found connections, and a lot of people found connection. They found happiness. They were like, this account, it's peaceful, it's easy, it's fun. It's sort of like a little detective, like, what's the outfit today? What's it going to be like? Where's that bra from?
Yeah,
Where's those leggings?
It's a very charming, happy place, and
Exactly.
and I know that a lot of people like myself are going to miss it. I also really appreciate that you understand intellectual property. You don't blame Peloton for
God,
this.
no.
I've had a lot of people reach out to me and be really frustrated with Peloton, and I'm like, well, it's not that simple
It's
though. Like,
their
it's not.
sandbox.
Yeah.
You got to play by their rules.
It's like, at the end of the day, we're all making money on the backs of Peloton, right? I mean, they did this thing and we love it and we're enjoying it. It's not like you did this in a labor of love because you were like, "Ooh, I'm money hungry." Like you said, you weren't. That's not the goal. You did it because you loved it. And
Totally.
that's it's a passion, and it turned into something cool because you had that passion. But none of that would have existed had you not had the bike in the first place, had you not had Peloton not been doing what they were doing. So, and same for our podcast.
Right,
Like, it's
absolutely.
the same. Nothing, everything that's related to Peloton all starts with Peloton. And so
right.
I think that's important for people to keep in mind that, this isn't, as you said, they were nice to you. Like, they weren't mean. And
oh, so nice. And, I like, honestly, people were like, did they send a cease and desist? Are they threatening to sue? And like, to me, I shouldn't give this away because I don't want to give Peloton any ideas. But to me, I was like, oh my gosh, what if they cut off my account? Like that was like the worst, the worst punishment I could imagine. Would be like, what if they say I violated copyright and I violated the user agreement and they're going to suspend my account? And that's the worst downside that I could think of, was because what am I going to do? Give back the $400 and the pairs of leggings? I mean, who cares? But I don't want to go without my Peloton. That would be a disaster. So, I was like, before they think of that and start threatening that, I don't want that consequence. I want to be able to, at the end of the day, maybe that makes me selfish because I was, whatever, but I want to get in that, Tunde's newest arms and intervals. That's very important to me.
I totally get that. And I've had a lot of people ask me too, if so many people assumed this was just about the name of because you call it Peloton Closet, and it's really, it doesn't sound like it was at all about the name.
I don't think that, they sort of reeled off a list of things that were wrong. And the name was one of them, but it was also using, the logo and using the photos and using the instructors and all that. So without authorization, because obviously, there are entities that are using Peloton instructors as brand ambassadors or paying for them to do advertisements. All that must be blessed I assume, by Peloton. So, it's just that I didn't ask permission. And
there are other Instagram accounts out there that I think it's pretty safe to say haven't been blessed by Peloton, but have Peloton in the name.
Yeah.
And they still exist.
So many.
Yeah. And there's another account on who shall remain nameless, because I'm not trying to get them in trouble, but they literally do the exact same thing that you were doing. And they don't have as many followers. They only have about 4,000 followers. Somebody sent me this account today. It was one that I did not know of. So this is a different one than you and I have talked about before. But it doesn't have Peloton in the name. And I can't help but wonder if Peloton hasn't reached out to them yet, because it doesn't have Peloton in the name. So maybe they haven't found it yet. And also maybe they haven't because they don't have as many followers. Like you gained a lot, and you gained it very quickly.
Gained a lot. I gained very quickly. And if there's an account that you think is not doing the right thing, you can speak to my friends, trademark at onepeloton.com.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I need an extended laugh break for that.
Oh, nice.
Might need some editing there. Cut some of that
I
laugh.
think we're going to leave in all that laughter.
I think that was
leave
great.
It all in. Yeah. So at this moment in time, there are no plans for you to try and figure out a way to do this within the acceptable parameters. Like you're just going to kind of take a beat.
Yeah, I think I'm going to chill for a minute.
Sure.
It was super nice to wake up this morning. So we're recording this the day after I took my site down last night. So it's the day after. It was really fun to sleep in today. I've been waking up at like 4:30 or 5 every morning to post and start answering DMs and story, and then do my workout and then go to work. So I slept in this morning until like 6:30. It was awesome. And
I gotta say, I'm a little jealous.
Crystal's going to change the name of the podcast to Peloton John Foley Manny Majacomo clip out.
You too can sleep in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to rest a little bit, and I'm a pretty creative person, and this is not the first idea I've ever had. It won't be the last idea. So I don't know. I can't say what everything, what the future would hold. I did love so much about Peloton Closet and getting to promote causes and that were really important to me, and getting to just, build this awesome community, getting to promote small businesses and up and coming designers, and, all those things you've heard me talk about. If there's a way to keep doing that without invoking the Peloton name or Peloton wrath, I'm open. I have to just think on it for a little bit, though. I think that I'm going to pause and see what percolates.
Do you want ideas from the community? Because I had a whole lot of people weigh in today about what you should do. Or do you kind of just want to let your own brain kind of work through that?
I have about 500 comments that I need to read. And I think that people had some suggestions for me. So probably there's some inspiration in the comment section of my post announcing kind of what happened. So yeah, but it might not be related to Peloton at all. I'm not sure.
Totally.
Echelon Closet.
I'm open to, yeah.
No, Tori.
I'm open to suggestions. No.
Is it possible to have negative Instagram followers? Is that a thing?
So I'm open to suggestions. I'm just going to kind of see what happens next. But, I think I just want to say, we talked about this a little bit before. I thought about just not enabling the comments, and I sort of wanted to monitor. And by the time I went to bed, it seemed like everything was tear emoji, that's a bummer, I'll miss you, and, pretty positive. But then I did notice that there were some comments kind of going in the direction of you suck, Peloton, and this isn't a cool look. And I just, I really wanted to speak to the two of you today to say, I don't blame Peloton. They're doing their jobs and they've done so much for all of us. So, I apologize for, to Peloton, sorry that my comments got kind of negative, and that's not how I feel. And, it's flattering that my followers feel really passionate and are kind of upset with Peloton, but you know what? Like I said, it was a great ride, and on to the next thing.
Awesome. Well, it's great that you have such a positive outlook on it.
It is.
And thank you for having been on the show as an interview and then as a segment. And if you figure out another way or you want to try something different, and
we're right here.
You know where to find us. And
Cool.
so I guess
we got that cool sweeper made and everything.
I know you owe us $7 for that though. That's
I'll send you my proceeds from April's affiliate link.
she will
Send me some leggings.
She will send you half a legging to make up for the cost of that sweeper. So I guess normally I end by saying, where can people find you? But if people want to find you, where can they find you? Or do you not want them to know? It's okay to say no.
Well, I haven't taken my site down yet. So I think I'm just going to keep it up for a while. And so feel free. I might have to change the name eventually, but I don't have any. I'm not doing what Peloton told me not to do.
Right.
Which is selling clothes or telling people where to buy clothes that aren't Peloton apparel.
Gotcha.
I kept just a few posts that were adjacent because I had a really, really heated debate happening about if you should wear underwear under leggings or not. And that is the kind of hard-hitting journalism that I think that people need access to. So I didn't take that stuff down. And it doesn't have anything to do with Peloton. So I kept a few posts up. So I haven't taken the site down yet. So feel free. It's still called Peloton Closet for now. You can DM me. You can follow me.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you
all
for
of it.
everything.
Guys.
We've
Yeah.
had the fun ride with you. Thank you for letting us join.
And don't be a stranger.
Yes.
I will not be a stranger, I promise.
But I will be stranger and stranger every day.
week.
Your chance to win with the Clip Out.
So we have a new contest.
We do. I'm so excited about this.
It's everyone's chance to win a tonal.
You can win a tonal, and all of the proceeds go to Make-A-Wish Foundation.
100% of the proceeds goes to the Make-A-Wish Greater Bay Area Foundation, and Tonal was kind enough to donate the tonal, which is why all of the money can go to Make-A-Wish, and so it's the Greater Bay Area because that's where Tonal is based out of.
Yeah,
So,
and not only did Tonal volunteer to donate the tonal, but also the accessory package,
the smart accessory package,
all the smart accessories that come with the package, and an entire year of membership on the tonal.
And because I know people always ask when we do these contests, it's available in all 50 states.
Yes.
So Alaska and Hawaii can also enter the contest because so many times it's the 48 contiguous states.
Yes.
And then people, those states are excluded. So not this time. All 50 states can participate. So your next question is probably, how can you participate?
Yes, let's talk about that.
So what you do is you go to theclipout.com/winatonal. Nice and easy. Theclipout.com/winatonal. And when you're there, you can purchase entries. And for as little as $5. So $5 will get you 10 entries. And I think $10 will get you 30 entries. And every increment you spend gets you more entries into this contest. And then you get additional entries if you maybe share it on your Facebook page, or if you share it and then a friend buys, you get even more. So there's, all sorts of ways. And like I said, 100% of the proceeds will benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
So, fun fact about Make-A-Wish, the average wish costs $10,000.
Yes, that's an average. So some are more. If you get a kid that wants to go to Antarctica, which is a thing.
It is a thing.
Like that one, that's a little bit more, but maybe some kid just wants to, I don't know, do a week at Disney World or something, and that can maybe be a little cheaper.
It just depends.
Yeah.
But we would love to reach our goal of $10,000.
That would be amazing.
It would be so amazing.
Especially because I don't know that we did. Well, maybe we mentioned this before.
We mentioned it one other time.
Yeah, but we were certified wish granters.
We were.
So we've done that in the past. So we've worked with Make-A-Wish before. And if you're thinking, oh, what can my money do? Here's a little $10 can provide a Make-A-Wish cap for a wish bag.
Aww.
Or $25 can provide the twinkle lights to decorate a Playhouse wish.
Aww.
Or $50 can get you a wireless mouse for a gaming computer wish.
Oh, wow.
Right? So there's a lot. So if you can just go up and up. $500 can provide a a tablet computer for a virtual celebrity wish, right? Because right now those all have to be virtual.
Right.
So there's all sorts of different ways you can. $1,000 can provide a canopy bed for a bedroom makeover wish. So,
Wow.
So there's all, and then 10 grand, you just bought a whole wish.
Yeah.
And you probably won the contest. But
it's really cool. And one thing about Make-A-Wish that I really enjoyed during the process is that you sit down with each individual child, and like the whole reason that you get trained as a wish granter is to help the child come up with what they want, not what their parents want
Right.
or their aunts and uncles want.
try and weed out any undue influence. They want to make
Exactly.
sure that this is a kid's wish, not someone else's wish being funneled through a kid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a really cool organization and a really cool process. And I absolutely am so excited about this. And for those of you who belong also already to the tonal community and you're like, well, I already have a tonal. What can I do? Well, I just want to send you over to the Superset and the official tonal community, because there's going to be virtual workouts you can participate in. There's going to be all kinds of things you can do over on the tonal side, and all of that money will go to the Make-A-Wish Foundation
Yeah,
as well.
and if you already have a tonal, you could still win another one, give it away.
Give it away.
Donate it to a school or something. Who knows?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
So once again, that's theclipout.com/win a tonal.
Peloton in the news.
So Peloton has a new commercial for the Bike Plus.
They do.
And of course, if it's Peloton, it features music.
It does. And this song really, I guess, made an impact about people. They kept talking about it. And so I've seen this in like 3 different news outlets that were like, what is that song?
Right.
So they found the song, and it is from Sophie Tucker, and it's super upbeat. The song is super upbeat. And so I posted about it.
Damn, I wish I was your Peloton instructor.
No.
Is that a...
No.
Okay.
No. That's Sophie B. Hawkins.
Oh, I just knew the Sophie part.
Yeah, it's spelled completely different and 30 years different.
Yes.
timing.
Yes, now that I look at the picture, I'm like, pretty sure that's not her.
Yeah, pretty sure. But this song, whenever I posted about it, I was like, do you guys already know this song? And then everyone then told me about how, yes, Purple Hat, which is the name of the song,
Okay.
was also the quote unquote theme song for the Jess King Experience season 2. And so every week when they would do their little dance moves or whatever they do, that was played. And so everyone who takes those classes already knew the song.
How about that?
And I thought it was interesting that then Peloton chose to use it over in the commercial. So it's a really fun little song. I don't know if you've heard it.
I have not heard it.
It's
so
very upbeat. I really dig it. I'll put it on my liked.
how about that?
Hearted that.
Bustle.com had an article, 2000s themed Peloton classes that will bring nostalgia to your sweat sesh. And it's like, first off, I'm like, wait, they have these lists are getting out of control. 2,000 items?
No.
Oh no, it's for the 2000s.
Yeah, I love how that'll bring nostalgia. Like what,
Yeah.
for the 19-year-olds?
I know, I'm like,
who's
what?
finding nostalgia?
No, let's not have nostalgia for the 2000s yet.
Yeah, I'm not
geez.
ready. I'm not ready. Yeah. I think these are funny because, as you've mentioned, we're starting to get these like all the time kind
Yeah.
of things. So I really am starting to think that Peloton's just paying people to do these little, like they're,
I don't think Peloton has to pay people.
okay,
to
these
do
people are
things.
paying Peloton to like
That-
for ideas, but they're like they're repetitive, you know.
Yeah.
So there were all these different classes that, I mean, there's 2,000,000 classes out there.
Yeah,
so
totally.
They don't. I mean, my favorites are not going to be their favorites, and vice versa. But I think the idea that the article exists amuses me.
Yeah. PCMag.com tested out the new Peloton tread.
Yeah, I think this is interesting because I haven't seen a lot of news outlets, and in this case it's an electronic outlet, but I haven't
That
seen
counts,
them
yeah.
like really do a lot of reviews on the new tread.
Right.
There were tons when the Tread Plus came out.
Totally.
So many I can't even count them all. And so they compared both. They did the Tread Plus and the Tread, tried both of them out. They basically kind of came to the conclusion that it really just depends on what you're looking for. Like if you have the space and you have the money, like Obviously,
Yeah,
the
it's-
Tread Plus because the slats.
Right.
But if you don't, and you really want the Peloton world, that
Mm-hmm.
like it's kind of it's no brainer to get the smaller one.
Right.
Because it's a lower profile, it's much smaller, it's much quieter, and of course, much cheaper.
So, Peloton senior vice president and global head of global marketing, something like that. It's got global and marketing in the title. How about
She's
that?
doing all the things marketing.
Yes. I don't know how you say your last name. Dara
Tresidder?
Tresidder? Okay.
Tresidder?
I don't know. But
Dara.
Dara. We'll call her Dara.
Our friend Dara.
Sure. She's going to be speaking as part of Optima 21, which only sounds like a transformer.
It's a cousin to Optimus Prime.
Right.
Yeah.
This is
This is basically an HR conference.
Yeah.
It's like, and the interesting thing is that they bill themselves as number one. I kind of have to wonder how many of those are number one.
yeah, it's
But-
kind of like when you Google second biggest Mardi Gras city
Yeah.
in the United States.
There's like 8 of them.
There's like 20 that all claim to be the second biggest Mardi Gras.
including St. Louis.
Including St. Louis, yeah.
We're not.
We're not.
But I do find like the people that they have are very interesting. I mean, there's only 4 like main speakers.
Yeah.
And their keynotes are pretty badass. I mean, they have Guy Raz and Dara. Like, and I mean, they have other people too. I just
Right.
they don't stand out to me as much. They might stand out to other people
Right,
who know
totally.
who they are. But so we have. I'm trying to look at his name. Patrick Len.
Yeah, the way it
It's like it's white font on his white shirt.
against his white shirt.
so I can't really read it.
Yeah. And he's from he wrote the first dysfunctions of a team. Am I reading that right? The type is so small.
So they
and
scroll
I'm
down.
old.
They have like other people listed.
Okay.
Okay, so they have Dara. So we got Dara. Okay,
And
there we
then
go.
Baratunde Thurston.
There we go. He okay, so he's going to do deconstructing racism in the workplace. He wrote the bestseller How to Be Black. Definitely recognize him and that book. And then Patrick Lee Lenciani.
Okay.
And he's going to close it down with talking about the 5 dysfunctions of a team. So I think those are pretty awesome keynote speakers for this thing. And I would love to see what Dara has to say.
Dara the Explorer. Because she's never heard that joke.
I'm sure.
She probably hasn't. Because she's in charge. So you don't just walk up and make that joke to
No,
her.
you don't.
Not unless you want to work for Echelon. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Dara gives off the vibe. She's pretty fun.
Maybe. That's asking an awful lot.
It is. It is. Nobody who works there try that. We
Don't try
We don't
that.
want you to get fired.
No. So in our Peloton news roundup, there was an article in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch
That there was.
that was Peloton related.
There was.
And it was about us. This is actually a couple weeks ago, and we kept forgetting to include it. But it was about us. They wrote a big feature, and it was in every Friday. It's the Go magazine. It's the entertainment news insert that I'm sure every city's paper has a version of it. And the headline, the cover story was about podcasts that originate from St. Louis.
And we got on the list.
We were on the list. There was only, I think, 14 that they featured.
Yeah.
And our logo was right on the cover, right dead center on the cover of the magazine. And then we were featured in the spread with a huge picture of us in our studio recording. And
It was the first selfie I ever took in this room.
Yeah.
Look how short my hair is. Gosh, look how thin I was.
and then a real nice write up on us and just about kind of the history and how we started and all that. So that was nice.
It was very nice.
It was also kind of cool because we were featured, and there was some other like pretty big podcasts, like the local CBS affiliate has a podcast.
Yeah.
And they talked about them. They talked about the Office ladies.
Yeah.
Because Jenna Fisher is from St. Louis. Pam from The Office. There are actually 3 St. Louisans.
Yes.
On The Office, if you don't know. Phyllis is from The Office. Jenna Fisher is from St. Louis, and then Jenna Fisher is from St. Louis, and so is Ellie Kemper.
Yes.
She's so there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
But
I think that's really cool.
yeah, so that was very, very nice. So thank you for thinking of us, Post-Dispatch.
Yes.
So we found an interesting rumor this week
Yes.
from.
And I have to say, I did not actually find this. Somebody sent this to me.
Okay.
Marty sent this to me.
Thank you, Marty. And it's from I guess you say the Instagram account named Du Moi.
I think so.
I think it's supposed to be like French for do me. I don't think that's really what it means, but it's DEUXMOI, and they post a lot of like celebrity.
Isn't due to?
I guess.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bilingual play on words.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of. So they post a lot of celebrity gossip apparently, and they have
Yeah.
a fairly solid track record.
Yeah. Apparently, like a lot of the things that they post happen to come true.
Right.
So I don't know.
Take this with a grain of salt, but this is what they put out there.
Yeah, they say that there's this big collaboration coming this summer, and it's going to feature several high-profile athletes and celebrities, people like such as Michael Phelps, Jay Cutler, Kate Hudson, Ciara, Diplo, Aquafina, Kyle Richards, Leslie Jones, and more. Supposedly, the team is also in talks with President Biden if the timing works out, given the craziness of the world. It says that that the series is going to be tentatively titled Ride and Relate, and then insert the celebrity name.
Okay.
It will feature fun rides, and it will have interviews that are conducted from the Peloton instructors.
Okay.
So we'll see. They say that the goal is to stay ahead of the curve as group fitness reopens in New York City and elsewhere. So on the one hand, I put a lot of validity in here because there were a lot of people I found very interesting following this account.
Right.
And that's all I'm going to say about that. And then the other thing that makes me not think it is because whoever wrote this email does not know how to spell anyone's name that works at Peloton.
Yeah.
So that makes me not think it's real.
But if they don't follow Peloton, then it's sort of the thing that they're not even going to think about.
But I feel like this email came from an employee at Peloton.
Gotcha.
So you'd think, because how else would they know?
Yeah.
You'd have to, I mean, this was clearly a mole if
Right.
it's true.
If it's true.
And if it is true, then like, dude, you need to figure out how to spell Ally Love's name. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. They spelled the love part wrong. No, they didn't.
So I don't know. We will wait and see if that happens or not. And also, Peloton is Peloton, so they could be like, yeah, people already found out about it. We're canceling it. That could be a thing,
Would
too.
not surprise me.
Would not surprise me.
Getting the psychological edge.
with Dr. Jen.
So joining us today, once again, via the magic of ZoomTube, is Dr. Jen Mann, licensed marriage, family, and child therapist and sports psychology consultant. You may know her from VH1's Couples Therapy with Dr. Jen or VH1's Family Therapy with Dr. Jen. She also has a wonderful app called No More Diets. It's Dr. Jen. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. We have a new question for you this week from the Clip Out community.
It would be kind of weird if
I love the questions from the Clip Out community.
we just asked the same questions over and over again.
It would, but I was differentiating that it was from the community,
Oh,
Tom.
I see. I thought you were stressing that it was new.
This one is from Angie Prewer. I hope I'm saying her name correctly.
Angie sounds right.
Okay. She wants to know, how should she change strategies now that her goals have changed? So last year she was focused on losing weight and maintaining that loss, but now she's down 20 pounds and she wants to work on dropping her body fat percentage. What should she do?
Okay. Well, first of all, I have to share that I have a little bit of a bias when it comes to goal setting, that I tend to like process-oriented goals as opposed to end-oriented goals. In other words, instead of I want to lose X percentage of my body fat, I like goals that are more, I am making a goal to run 10 miles a week. I'm making a goal to do, 3 upper body classes and 3 lower body classes. That I like process-oriented goals because we cannot control how our bodies respond to exercise, but what we can control is what we do and what we participate in. So my first recommendation would be to, well, you are making a new goal, to make those goals about the process as opposed to the outcome. And if that becoming leaner goal is really important to you, then what I would recommend doing is meeting with an expert like a dietitian or a physician or someone who you really trust. Make sure that your goal is healthy and reasonable for your body type, for your age, for your medical issues. And then to kind of break down what is it going to take to accomplish this goal, and then try to turn that into more process-oriented goals, because we can really end up feeling terrible about ourselves when you find you're working your ass off, and instead of going like, wow, my endurance has gotten better, I've gotten stronger, I've gotten more flexible, I am a better athlete, but oh, I only lost 3% when I wanted to lose 10% of my body fat, and then feel bad about ourselves when we've actually done great things, not only in terms of ourselves as athletes, but in terms of our longevity and our good health. So to me, to really just kind of shift that focus. And I also think we have to look at what really motivates us. That sometimes we get so used to having the same goal, and this is particularly common with weight loss, that sometimes people are just, oh, you know, my whole life I've always been oriented towards losing weight, or, oh, I've always felt bad about my body. And sometimes when we work on ourselves, even if our bodies are not perfect, if we're able to come to some level of peace with our imperfect bodies, we can make our goals about other things that motivate us. Like, I know for me, one of the things that when I get on the treadmill and I feel like, oh, I don't really feel like working out today, I think about my daughters.
Aww.
And I think about, I want to be there to dance at their wedding. I want to be there to see my grandchildren one day, many, many decades from now. And, you know, I think about a friend of mine who was in a terrible accident, who is not able to walk. And I think, you know what, she wishes she could do this. Like, this is something that really motivates me, that I can still do this and that I have that good fortune. And I think about her a lot of the time. So I think we have to really look at what motivates us, what goals are outdated for us. And again, to really try to focus on process-oriented goals as opposed to endpoint goals.
You know, piggybacking on the idea of process versus an endpoint, I would think it's also beneficial in terms of, like, if you set it up as an endpoint goal, you also run the risk not just of beating yourself up if you don't hit it, but also undermining it if you do. Like, you get there and then you go, well, I've done that. And then you kind of lose it all because it's
been there.
You got to keep
there.
doing things to maintain that. Like, it's not just once you drop 20 pounds, it magically stays off.
Exactly. And I think that we just tend to get really fixated on numbers, you know, and you know, to give you a really great example of why that is dangerous. In the very olden days, many, many decades ago, I did, during my eating disorder days, I did this program that there was a liquid diet. It was kind of like OptiFast that Oprah did in the 80s, but it was a different company. And what happened is I did this liquid diet, and then during the refeeding stage, I started to gain weight. I had this talking scale, and I would get on the scale and be like, you know, hi, you weigh X number of pounds today. You have gained 1 pound. Have a nice day. And then, like, I get on again, be like, you weigh X number of pounds. You've gained 3 pounds. Have a nice day. Well, long story short, at the time, I was focused on the numbers and the external. And so this totally triggered me into like an eating fast, that I was like, I'm working so hard and I'm gaining pound after pound after pound. And it's kind of, I got all bingy and awful, and it was terrible. And just kind of like, I went down the rabbit hole. Well, long story short, as it turns out, the scale was broken. It was giving me inaccurate readings. But because at the time I was so focused on the external and the number, as opposed to the internal and the experience and the health aspect of all the good things I was doing for my body at the time, although I was a bit eating disordered, so not all of it was that good, but it really threw me off. And to me, it really speaks to how important it is to be focused on the health aspects, to be focused on the process-oriented aspect of it. And I'm grateful that I'm now a fully recovered person when it comes to this stuff, and that, you know, I don't even weigh myself, but if I did, it wouldn't matter what the scale said. But it really, we have to focus on the internal and on the bigger issues.
I know
Wow.
this isn't the point of the story, but I'm just curious, how did you figure out the scale was wrong? I would never think to question the scale.
Yeah.
Because at the time I was also getting weighed at a medical facility.
Okay.
And so, but it wasn't as frequently. Like I was weighing myself
Sure.
every day at home. So over the course of 7 days,
Right.
I thought I gained like 10 pounds. But then I think I was seeing the doctor like every other week. So like, after 2 weeks, their scale said something totally different.
Right.
Wow. Well, good thing
Yeah.
you were going to the doctor, that you caught
Yeah.
it that fast.
And then you
that
don't
could have
even
been
get-
even worse.
You don't even get the joy of being like, I told you so, because it's a scale.
You can't talk back.
You
Yeah,
can't
but
go
also
get-
what it happened,
go
because
get
at the
smug.
time I was very eating disorder. It's like once you kind of if
Totally.
you have an eating disorder, once you kind of fall down that hill, like you're just rolling. Like it's really
Right.
hard to kind of stop that momentum and be like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, because also then what happened was I was then overeating because I had that kind of fuck it attitude of like, oh, I'm just going to eat.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter now,
Ugh.
which is part of that unhealthy diet mentality, eating disorder thinking, which is a disaster, and I've done a lot of work on myself since then. That could never happen to me because I don't have that kind of diet mentality. So, but I remember what it was like to have that and how painful that was and how easily triggered I was and how things could kind of lead me astray that were externally based.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very powerful example to drive that home.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
Well,
Jeez.
Thank you for that. Until next week, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on all social media, especially Instagram, at Dr. Jen Man, 2 N's on Jen, 2 N's on Man, and also my InStyle magazine column, Hump Day with Dr. Jen.
Instructors in the news.
So Ross Rayburn had a big reveal this week.
He did. I loved it so much.
He apparently, in a past life, was on an episode of Sister Sister.
Look how young he looks there. And
I don't know
he
what he looks like
doesn't-
now, so
he doesn't look old now.
Yeah.
Like if you scroll down just a little bit,
Oh,
you can
okay.
see him below in the.
Oh, okay,
Like
yeah.
he doesn't look old.
Yeah.
But like he just has this baby face in that
Yeah.
picture. Like oh my gosh. I love this. So apparently he was an actor and he was on the show. So
And it
how
must have
about
been
that?
around 97 because the shirt he's wearing has the 1997 national champions for some football team
Yeah, I don't know what
that I
football
wouldn't.
team.
I
but-
don't know, but what the year is.
Yeah,
So-
totally. I didn't even notice that because
Yeah.
I can't get away from that face that he's making and those eyebrows.
DJ John Michael made a 7-layer rainbow cake for Jess King.
Yeah, and apparently they did this on Zoom, and
Okay.
they each made one because they were like, obviously they had to do stuff
Did
at home.
Zoom, yeah.
Zoom, and so they each made one, and DJ John Michael said that hers turned out better, but I thought it was great that they did this, and it was all in anticipation of her 7-year anniversary at Peloton, which just occurred back on 3/27.
Gotcha. And I guess so that means technically they made a 14-layer rainbow cake.
They did separately,
Separately, but together.
separate but together. I love it.
And then speaking of 7-year anniversaries, Hannah Corbin's
Yes, she
is happened on, she had a ride to celebrate it on
April 2nd.
April 2nd.
Yeah. How cool is that? So there's like a wave of instructors that happened kind of all at the same time.
Sure.
And so that's back. Those are the first kind of wave of after we get past Jen Sherman, there's
Right.
a wave.
Yeah.
So cool.
Because I guess that wave, like the people from the other wave, with the exception of Jen Sherman, are any of them still there? Because that's like Nicole Moline and Stephen Little.
So
and stuff like that, right?
Robin's obviously still there
Okay.
because Jen and Robin started about the same time. And then it was like right after that was Jess King and Hannah Marie Corbin because she went by Hannah Marie back then. And then there was another instructor I'm totally blanking on.
I can't help you.
I know.
But
I feel like there was somebody out there is yelling at me right now.
I have no doubt.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. My brain failed me.
You can also expect a spring drop. It will probably have already occurred by the time you're hearing this.
It's supposed to. And it's supposed to happen on Thursday for 8. There was a really, really pretty kind of preview of it on Rebecca Kennedy's Instagram story.
Right.
It was this really pretty pair of leggings and bra that was like black, but it had like royal blue and yellow accents. It was really, really pretty. So you can expect to see that soon in my room, because I will be buying that.
Or will it be in a box and you'll forget about it and you'll find it in a year?
One time.
That you know of.
Oh, come on.
I wonder how many leggings you've thrown away. That's all I'm saying.
I haven't thrown any leggings away.
We'll never know, will we?
I can't believe I even told you. Why did I tell you this? Why? Why? Especially today.
Yeah, if you'd have told me tonight by next Wednesday,
you would have forgotten all about it.
I would have totally forgotten.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what the new drop is. I always love the spring clothes. I love all their clothes. Who am I kidding?
And then Jen Sherman's mixtape rides are back.
Yes. Yeah. It's going to kick off April 11th. That's this coming Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Now, if you have not taken Jen Sherman's mixtape rides, you need to know that they're amazing, because Jen Sherman is, in my opinion, the best at putting like an eclectic mix of songs together. And she's known for it, like in her circle and in college. She was known for putting mixtapes together. And if you got one of her mixtapes, like, you were special. You were one of her friends. And so now we all get to share with Jen Sherman's mixtape rides. I can't wait.
And real quick, starting next week, we will have a new feature on the show.
We will. This time, we are going to have a nutrition expert on from MetPro.
And obviously, we've been doing MetPro, and I'm just about ready for my first cut. Where they've been giving me food. It's so weird. They keep giving me more food to eat, and I still keep losing weight, which seems to deny the laws of physics.
No, but you were eating so little. Yeah. Like, this is the thing. Like, it's so cool to see I just can't believe how many carbs we're eating a day and like not gaining weight.
Right.
Like, it's just insane. I'm so excited about repairing our metabolism.
But so we put a post in the group. People ask questions about nutrition and food and how to eat and what to eat and when to eat and all that sort of stuff. And so we will be basically tackling a question a week with MetPro.
Yep.
And just kind of talking about the best way for you to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's things that you can apply to your everyday life. You don't need to be doing MetPro to benefit from this.
Absolutely. Like it's not just going to be a 5-minute commercial for MetPro.
Nope.
It's going to be about like things that you can actually incorporate into your life. And then if you also want to check out MetPro, feel free. You can do it at metpro.co/TCO. I like that it rhymes. It does kind of rhyme. Yeah.
Checking in with the Peloton community.
So joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Kelly Backus. Hey, Kelly, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you guys? Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us.
And before anyone wants to at us on Twitter or whatever, I did the Gilligan's Island Jim Backus, Mr. Magoo conversation before we started recording.
It was in the pre-show. It
didn't escape me. We're just not going to do it now.
So, but you didn't ask her if she was related. That's always your question.
I assume she would have like volunteered that information.
Yeah, no, I definitely would have, but no.
Okay, fine. Well, that was my contribution to the pop culture conversation. So, Kelly, how did you originally find Peloton?
So back in December, I only know this because I wrote this down at some point. I don't know why, but back in December 2016, I had just joined a local gym, and I hate the gym. Like, I've never been very good at it. I just used to be an athlete in high school and college, and then I got hurt, and I herniated a disc in my low back, and just continued to re-injure it. So when I would go to the gym, it's like, okay, I know how to do 5 things. How do I make that last for an hour and actually like be productive? So I was at the gym and I couldn't run anymore because of the way that my back had been injured. And I figured, why not Google YouTube spin classes? Like, if there was some sort of spin class that I could do, since I could never make the time of the class. And all of a sudden this thing came up. It was it was kind of a website, but it was one of those things that looks like an ad because it just like opened the app store and it said Peloton. So I clicked on it and I downloaded it. And at the time it was
Hi, kitty.
Sorry. This is my cat Ren.
Hi, Ren.
He's 16 pounds and very nosy. So hopefully he won't be loud. So downloaded it, I tried it. I took a class with Christine and I was like, where has this been my whole life? So when I got home, I did a lot more research and I found out that there was a bike involved. And so I tried the app for about a year, but I was solely going to the gym to use the app. And then when this was before you could preload classes.
Sure.
So it would just like buffer and it would just drive me crazy. So I started looking into, how much would it cost to finance the bike? Is that something that's going to fit into my budget? Because I had just started working full time and, you just got to try to think about those things. So I talked to my mom about it and she was like, well, is cycling, because this was before they had all the content. They had some strength and some yoga, but it was nothing like it is. So we're like, are you going to do enough spinning for it to be equal to what you're paying at the gym?
Right.
So I tried, I signed up around a time they had a sale to work with a trainer and I tried that and it went pretty well, but it just wasn't, it was becoming a lot costlier because you had to start paying for, I'm just waiting for him to close my laptop. You had to start paying for the group classes on top of the trainer, the one-on-one training sessions. And so it just started to add up quickly. And so finally, once I realized the cost of financing it plus the membership, I was like, this is a no-brainer. I was moving into a new apartment. It had a gym if I needed some, free weights or something. But I got the bike. And so it was finally delivered in January 2018. And now, as we know, so many things have changed from that point. And I literally cannot imagine my adult life without Peloton.
It's so funny because that's only 3 years ago now, right? But that seems like a million years ago in Peloton years.
Yeah, truly.
It really does. Okay.
And I always think too, how on point the digital marketing team for Peloton was at this. I mean, they still are, but there's so many stories from this time frame that follow that same trajectory of I Googled spin classes or digital spin classes or whatever, and I got peppered with ads and I caved. It's so many people tell that same story,
including me. So now what was your fitness level like? You were going to the gym, but were you able to actually get a lot of a workout? Because it sounds like it was kind of a hassle. So were you going 3 days a week, 4 days a week, or? Yeah.
So the apartment that I lived in 2017 was at the top of a hill and my gym was right at the bottom. So it wasn't a too far of a drive, but my work schedule is really frustrating. At the time it's much more regular now, but I was working and we had busy seasons. So in the summer, I would be working pretty much Monday through Saturday, and Sunday I was don't talk to me, I'm sleeping. So when I could get to the gym in the summer, it was sporadic, but I was moving enough during the day that I felt like I had a decent level of fitness. But growing up as an athlete, I did soccer, taekwondo, swimming, I did a little bit of everything, dancing. And then when I was looking at colleges, I was wearing my field hockey rain jacket at one of the schools I was looking at. And this woman comes up to me out of nowhere and was like, you play field hockey? Do you want to join the field hockey team? And I was like, what? What's happening? And they're a Division II field hockey team. So, which is, you have to go through the clearinghouse. It's this big deal. And I was like, I'm not good. I just happened to be on my high school team, but the college team at the time was not great. And they needed numbers. That was the issue. Is like they couldn't recruit the numbers. So it ended up working out that I went to that school. I joined the team, but I had to redshirt, and I couldn't really. I couldn't play the first year, but I was able to work out with the team and, kind of hang out. And then sophomore year happened, preseason happened. It was great. So excited. We're going to play. I'm going to get to play this year. And the team itself had improved a lot that year. And then the last night of preseason, classes started a little late. So everyone got together. We went to a big party at the hockey house. It was so exciting. I was getting out of the car and someone's like, "Hey, good to see you." And hit me on the back, and I fell and I broke a bottle with my knee.
No.
So I had to get stitches. And then of course the coach found out, and one thing led to another. So it did not go well. And then I couldn't play. And then when I could play, I think I played maybe 2 games because of, understandable. No, she wasn't there. It was hard. Anyways.
Yeah.
So coming back from that injury after having been really into the preseason and the workouts and all of that, the 2 days and whatnot, it was really hard to get back to that fitness level again. But when I did, I was ready to go. And then I herniated the disc in my back. So once again, it was one thing after another. And I went to physical therapy, and I did everything that I could to try to get back to that level, because I always found when I had sports and I had that structure of the schedule and just the ability to move my body, everything else in my life went a lot smoother. So the way that my brain worked, and I wasn't diagnosed with it until 2 years ago, but I have ADHD. And so I had an IEP growing up. So I needed extra time to take tests, and focusing was always an issue. But when I was able to move, you could tell a clear difference of everything going better. Once I was I'd gone through the cycle of physical therapy, not needing physical therapy and whatnot, I decided to have surgery because I was still young. So I was only 23, I think. They said, "You'll heal quickly, and it'll just be better to do it now this way than to continue this cycle for the rest of who knows how long." And honestly, I think 3 weeks after, my dad, he played football. He played baseball and football growing up. He played football in college. He was a firefighter, paramedic. So he had a very physical job, and he does not go to the gym. He does not work out. He will laugh at you when you say he's basically my Tom. So
it sounds like he gets exercise in other places though.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. He definitely does. And that's what he always says. It's well, I used to work out, so it carries through, Okay, sure. So
you can bank it? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Surprise. So about 3 weeks after surgery, he would go to the gym with me, and I'd walk on the treadmill at 0.2, but it felt really good.
I bet.
Just the fact that I could do it. And so that helped bring me back up to a better fitness level. And even though I couldn't run, the pounding on my body just didn't feel great at the time, I was finding other things that were working better, whether it's with lifting weights or whatnot. And then that's how spinning came along. And because I never thought I would step foot on a spin bike ever. When I was 10, I was at my aunt's house, and my aunt is she actually helped write the book, the spin instructor book.
Oh,
that when people take the test.
Wow.
She's really into it. And so I was sitting on her spin bike, and we had a workout bike back in the 90s. So I was just whatever, this is my mom's. And the pedals weren't locked, or I was playing with it. I'm not really sure, but the pedals kept going and cut my leg. And I was I'll never go near a spin bike again, ever. And then finally, I guess I got over it. And
a little bit.
So I went to some spin classes at the Y, and found, this is feeling really nice with my lungs, and I'm able to do it even with my asthma, but it's not hard on my joints. So it felt really good. So that's kind of where I started and had a lot of issues, but ended up with the cycling being my main and favorite thing to do until now, which I do a little bit of everything, because that's what Peloton really is.
Well, how do you think that your workout process has changed since Peloton has grown? Like, what did it look like at the beginning compared to now?
Well, so I don't know if you remember. Oh my God.
For people just listening, her cat attacked the computer.
Now he's sitting behind it going,
wow, that was 3D. That was great.
Okay, so I'm sorry. What was the question? So I don't know if you remember, but back then you would get, instead of badges for, like, I think there was PR badges. I don't really remember, but remember it was like, you did 3 workouts in a row. Yeah. So if you did, it was really weird. Instead of 3-day streak.
Oh,
it
yes.
Was like
it was like 72 hours. It was like over hours, because you could do 3 workouts in a row, even though it was like over 4 days.
Yeah. It was really, really weird. So like trying to understand that, I would do my workouts to match, like, oh, this reward or whatever that may be. But also at the time I lived with a roommate, and the bike was in the living room, and she'd, like, a few times, and she's one of my best friends still, but she'd be like, you like breathe really hard when you're on the bike. Like, it's really hard. Like, I don't know what to do. But then I would get like anxious when she was home. So I'd be like, oh, I'll just do it later. And then, so my consistency was a lot different. And so then when I moved home, what was that? January of 2019, it started to just get more consistent. And then, like, all of a sudden realized I've had this bike for over a year and I haven't even hit 250 rides. Like, who the heck am I? What am I doing? So I started going nuts. Like, I would do warm up, ride, cool down, strength, toning. Like, I would do absolutely everything, and like a little too much, just like And so it wasn't until my
I know where your cat gets it from.
Exactly. I say that all the time. In the summer of 2019, I house sat for friends of mine, and it was going to be 9 weeks. And I was like, this is just long enough, and they live just far enough that if I don't bring my bike, I'm not going to touch it this summer. So I did. And I got into a really good routine of, okay, I have to be at work at 9 o'clock. If I get up at 7, I can get a 20-minute ride in and then work all day and come home, do some stretching or yoga before bed. And it just like felt really good. And that's when I started to get into a more overall routine of cycling, strength, stacking those things before the stacks were a thing. And then just like the little additions of the standing yoga or the meditations. And I would do those things. And because I don't know if I've said, but I'm a professional photographer. So I have a day job where I work at, currently I work at ESPN. So, you know, I'm in the corporate world Monday through Friday, but on the weekends, I still freelance and shoot weddings, whether it's for myself or for other people. And so I drive pretty far. Like I've driven to like the tip of Vermont, almost Canada, in a day, and you get bored. So I'll put on a meditation just to like bring me back or energize me or whatever that may be. And just having those little options have really changed the way that I do everything to do with Peloton.
Wow.
So like a meditation while you're driving?
Yeah, they have some that like, I would never do like a sleep meditation.
Like the do anywhere meditation.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
they'll say like, if you're commuting, like try to just focus on something. So I'll just
don't
focus
close
on
your
the road.
eyes.
It's like, this doesn't sound like a.
He's worried for your safety.
Yes. You've already had so many accidents during this conversation.
Please stop. It's the last thing I need.
Yeah, like it's like the knee and then the asthma. You were attacked by a cat. Like it's. Be the first interview we end early for the safety of the guest.
Oh man.
So, didn't know you were going to get a bonus tummy workout, did you?
I know, right?
Well, I'm curious about the meditation. Whenever you do those, do you find that helps with your ADD symptoms? Does that like help you empty your mind?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Like, especially there are some days where I'll do it like after our department meeting where like, you know, we have 50 people in a meeting and you just like process all this information. You're like, okay, I have a really long to-do list, but I can't stop thinking about that. So I'll just do something to just kind of like recenter and then, okay, now where can I begin? Yeah, I definitely, I find that to be really helpful. And I actually, since moving home, my mom like started to be like, you know, tell me a little bit more about this Peloton. And so she like started to do it and she would do it pretty consistently. And then I think it was around the time of Peloton this summer, she was like, hold on, what are these badges? I want more of these. And so she like joins the challenges. And so she was like, the easiest way to do it is to do a meditation every day. But she likes to lay with like a warm cloth on her eyes. So she'll put on a 10-minute, usually it's either Chelsea or DT meditation, and she'll just like zen out. And then my dad was like, 10-minute nap. I'm in. So now they do it too. So the meditations are big in our household for sure.
That's fabulous. I love the meditations. I feel like it.
I think the real question, do they have a cat meditation?
We actually have pictures of him sitting on my mom's lap, like, okay. And he's like completely zened out. And his name is Ren, so we call him Zen Ren.
Aww.
You got to do something to get that wildebeest under control.
Truly.
That was hilarious. So do you have like favorite content that you do? Like, so you're obviously doing the bike, you're doing the meditation. Are you like, what is your favorite kind of content to do at this point?
Well, so, it's been an interesting year. So last year with the pandemic, I started like at first, I like the loss of structure blew my brain up. I could not handle it. I started having to do virtual therapy twice a week because I was like, help, like I just couldn't figure it out. And so I would try to like ride during the day. And I feel like they were doing that at the beginning. Like they were trying to be there more. So they were accommodating the schedule so that people could attend live rides on their lunch hour or whatever it may be. So I was riding a ton and, you know, doing more of that. But I was having a lot of issues with inflammation and kind of like an autoimmune type thing. And they couldn't really figure it out. But the problem was moving really helped, but too much was affecting me more. So when I was riding or doing like really vigorous things, it was affecting me.
Okay.
So I was trying to, it took me a while, but I found like a decent balance of, okay, if I ride 4 days a week, but maintain with some really good yoga and outdoor walks, you know, that definitely helps. And so I got everything under control with a diet. Like I'm eat like non-inflammatory foods, and it's kind of boring sometimes, but I feel really good. So I don't actually care.
Yeah.
But that, I think I started that around November. And at that time I had recently become an ambassador for this program or this foundation called Bright Pink, which is it's a breast and ovarian cancer awareness foundation, but they focus mainly on women between the ages of 18 and 40. So it's more about early detection and like knowing your risk and all of that sort of thing. And I just turned 30 in August, and I will start imaging for breast cancer later this year because of my family history.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I got involved with them. Is I get monthly text reminders like, do your monthly exam, just make sure you're on top of things. And I like tagged them at in October. I always like post something like, there used to be a meme that would go around or something that was like, make sure that you mammogram your boobs if you're going to Instagram them or something like that. And so like I would always like add additional information of what I'm doing. And so I tagged Bright Pink, and they were like, oh, would you like to be an ambassador? So in the fall, like right around the time I got all my inflammation stuff under control, I attended a town hall for other ambassadors. And they told us, if you run for Team Bright Pink in the Chicago Marathon, your registration is covered, your training, there's a training program that is covered, and you can do it all through us. And I was like, interesting. And then at the same time, I was like, who the hell just said that? Like, what is going on? And so like, because last year the beginning of this year when I got my cool down video, it was like, so many rides, blah, 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 running, 0. I was like, yeah, that's about right. And now all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, marathon. Okay, interesting. But it just, something about it really was triggering my mind. But I think it's because, and I've talked about this quite a bit, but the fact that Bright Pink is focused on this younger age group and so many women who are around my age, which is young, will do things like have preventative double mastectomies or hysterectomies and, do these things that really change your entire life. I thought, just because I'm not a runner doesn't mean I can't be a runner. And I have Peloton, they have that whole program. Like, this all went through my head in maybe 45 minutes. And so once I got off that ambassador call, I contacted my friend who she just turned 32, but when she was 29 had breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
And I photographed her wedding, like she was halfway through chemo treatments at her wedding.
Wow.
And she ran the New York City Marathon. So I was like, all right, if you can go through this and then run the marathon, do you think that this is something I could train for? She was like, yes, do it. You're going to do it. And I actually Instagram messaged Rebecca Kennedy because I was like, who knows, maybe she'll answer. And she usually, like, if you like respond to her story, she'll like respond back or something. And so she was like, absolutely. If you're even thinking about it, you have plenty of time, you should do it. So the kind of content that I've gotten into this year is very different than in previous years because I've been doing a lot more outdoor running and strength work and standing strength work, core work. I'm doing the Maddie's Encore 28 right now, and all the new Strength for Runners content is really, really nice. And I live in Connecticut, so the weather in the United States is just ridiculous right now. But it's been really obnoxious here, and there's just not enough clear spaces to run. And I don't have a Tread Plus yet. I'm working on it. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do in this time where like I just can't get outside? Because I tried. And one day there was no snow, and then there was an inch of snow. Like you can't.
And it can be dangerous to run.
Exactly. And so like, is it worth breaking a bone and putting myself out of commission for months?
Not with your history.
We're going to go ahead and say no.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You should start a GoFundMe. Like that's.
We need to give you a tread to prevent anything happening to you.
Put a cat pen around it.
Yeah, you're right. Because he'll just hop on there and be like,
Yes.
all right.
You'd be like George Jetson, but with a cat. Castro. No, that's a Cuban dictator.
No.
It's a different thing.
Oh my goodness. Oh, but that's a really good idea. Go fund me for the tread. Anyway,
Because of my accident-prone history, I need a tread.
it'll be like one of those really bad infomercials. It'll just be me.
And if whenever you get your tread, whatever you do, wear the little clip key thing. So when you, like a lot of people, it's like, that's a thing. It's a safety thing. Like whatever for you, like that is mandatory. Danger-prone Daphne over here. Like you
mattress
gotta.
behind it, so when I go flying off, I bounce right back.
Or if you're not gonna wear one, be sure and film it because you could go viral. So those are always fun videos when they happen to other people. So.
Oh
Oh man.
my
So
god.
helpful. So
So bright pink.
Right?
yes, bright pink running. But so the thing I decided to do was I retook my FTP test, and so I'm going to do the Power Zone program because I haven't really done it. But I was taking Christine's endurance ride the other day, and I found myself like getting kind of like bored. And I mean, I hadn't taken my medicine, but that's just what it is. It was the weekend. But I was like, if I plan to run 26.2 miles, I'm going to get bored quick.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
I should probably like figure out a way to get with the mental portion of these endurance type things. So I think for the winter with the weather the way that it is, this will be a good way to do it, is to redo the Power Zone, or to do the Power Zone program, having redone my FTP, and kind of see the strength grow from that way. And then as spring comes, I can get back outside on the road again.
Absolutely. Remind me of when the Chicago Marathon is. I can't keep track.
I know, right? It's in October. It's October 10th.
Okay.
And last I knew, that's when Boston was rescheduled too. So there was a lot of really unhappy marathon people, but I don't know about that. All I know is October 10th, I will be in Chicago.
Okay. Well, that's great though, because that gives you a ton of time. You know, it'll be warm before you know it, and so the Power Zone is a great way to get your endurance up, and also the endurance runs. Like even if you take them outside, I think they're just amazing because a lot of those longer runs, and maybe you've taken them. I might be telling you something you already know. They literally will talk to you about preparing for a marathon and why you need to increase that mental strength and to get better at those longer blocks of running. So you absolutely are on the right page for what you need to do, that mental toughness. It's a real thing. And also make yourself an amazing playlist that you love.
Yeah.
You're going to need it.
Yeah.
So will they let her? Because when you did yours, you couldn't wear headphones, right?
That was because I was at the an Ironman competition where you have biking and swimming, and they don't allow music during those kind of competitions.
Oh, like because of the transitions?
Exactly.
Okay.
And the other thing is, they don't want you out there on an open road with headphones in, and it's like so competitive. There's so many people out there. But I believe, don't hold me to this, but I think the Chicago Marathon, they do let you because it's all runners and the streets are closed. So
Gotcha.
it's a lot safer than what I was doing. So
Okay.
from that standpoint. But triathlons are usually a lot stricter about the no headphones thing.
Yeah, because 26 miles with no oof.
Yeah.
That would be brutal.
Also, I have a great class for you to take as you prepare your marathon. Okay, so there's a ton of great training, but my favorite class is Robin's. She does like a thing where she goes through the New York City Marathon, and it's like a virtual, like, you're at mile 14 now, and here's what you're going through. And it's like amazing. And the music is awesome. And like you just feel like you like $1 million by the end of it. So.
Oh, awesome. Okay. I'll definitely look into that.
Okay.
And the New York City Marathon, a virtual thing she does, is really authentic because at mile 17 you get mugged. Spoilers.
Surprise!
Yeah.
And I know Bex did one this year too. I haven't taken it, so it might be just as awesome. But I know the one Robin did. I've taken like 3 times because it's my favorite running.
Okay,
class.
that's really good because I've heard about Bex. Like I saw her Instagram stories about it and heard from other people who've taken it, but I hadn't heard about Robin. So it's good to know that there's probably 2 that are really, really good.
Yeah. There's lots of great ones, but that one's my favorite to like pump you up. So
Yeah. Okay. Good to know.
that's really exciting. So are you like raising money for this venture that you're doing?
Yeah. So that's like the only commitment that you have to make. Like, since they kind of cover so many things, you just have to raise some money. But it's I think the total is $2,000, which I didn't think was too much. Like, I was like, I definitely can do that. First of all, I come from a big family and
Yeah, totally.
how do you so, I'm totally kidding. But I was like, that feels reasonable. And the amount of time that I had to do it
Right.
just felt like plenty. So what I try to do is just after I do my runs, and I'm sure people are annoyed and I don't honestly care. Cause I just will be like, I just went for my run, or, post something like, great playlist, Bex, like whatever it may be. I constantly talk about it. And then people will be like, oh, do you have that link? Or I have the link in my Instagram profile, or I'll just like throw it up on my Facebook. And so like slowly they're coming in, and I haven't done too much promotion because that's just not who I am. So I have to like figure out the wording behind it so that it doesn't feel like, please help me.
Yeah.
So, but I think once training really ramps up this summer, because the program through Bright Pink will begin in June, I will really start kind of not advertising, but moving forward with that.
Sure. No, that makes perfect sense. So who's your favorite Peloton instructor in general? Do you have one?
That's just like not fair. So I think last year on my cool down, Christine was number 1, but I was a little disappointed that they didn't have a list of like, Christine was number 1, but here were like your other top ones, or here's how many classes you took with everybody. Because I would say I really frequent Jess King, Rebecca, Cody, Chelsea, Dr. Chelsea. Oh my God. Your interview with her was like the highlight of,
Isn't she amazing? Like
she's just an angel.
What a
Like,
bright light.
the best. But so it, like Maddie, I love, like, there's truly no one that I dislike. If they're on the schedule and I have the time, like Jen Sherman, I love, but like, and I love everybody for different reasons.
Yep.
So it just, you talk about it all the time. There's a different instructor for every mood or for every workout. Like, you can't just pick one.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
So what is your leaderboard name?
My leaderboard name is Won't Back Us Down. So it's
Nice.
I like it. I like
Yeah.
it.
Guys, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I was going to recommend Cat Attack, but yours is good too. You merge them, Cat Attackus? Is that a thing?
Well, it's true. The cat did attack us.
Yeah. Well, not us. It's a pandemic. It was a virtual attack. 'Cause you don't want to get cat
That's
COVID.
a thing now.
Yeah, you don't want to get cat COVID.
Oh my God. Oh,
Really good.
I feel like people are going to pull up YouTube just to see it.
Just to see the cat attack. It's a good place for a shameless plug. YouTube.com/theclipout where you can watch Cat Attack. We're branching out.
Oh my God. He definitely always has to make an impression whatever meeting I'm on. He
Check
Yep,
that box.
exactly.
He did it. That was
oh
great.
God, here he is.
Oh, he's back.
Oh no.
Brace yourself.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for people just entering the world of Peloton?
So something that I like always tell people is just try the classes, all of them, everybody. Whether my mom actually was just able to start riding recently, and so I'm like, I don't really love this person all the time if I'm in a really happy mood, but you might like them. So, just go through, take 10, 15-minute classes, really get to know everybody, and don't just take certain kinds of classes with certain people until you know that's the kind of class that you appreciate them to be teaching. Like, I think Christine, especially for endurance rides, is really good because of the way that she helps you kind of change the chatter in your head. And if you just want something to fly by really quickly, then I would take something with Cody, because he's going to make you laugh and he's going to, kind of distract you from the clock counting down. But most of the time, what I tell people is you'll find, without a doubt, you will find somebody and some kind of workout that works for you, and it will far exceed any experience you've had at a gym. So just keep up with it, keep working it out, and everything's going to change. Who you like is going to change. The workouts that you do is going to change. Nothing stays stagnant. That's the only thing that's guaranteed.
Yes. All great advice. Yes, I approve.
We've done about 10 of these where she didn't approve, and we've never aired them.
We have to air the cat.
Well, yeah. Like, so you could have.
I feel like your cat stole the show.
Yeah. You could have said something completely insane, like, I pick Peloton classes based on taste. Like, you should be like, there's a cat attack. I gotta roll with it.
Well, really, I mean, maybe that's why I like Christine, because she always is posting cat content of her own cats.
There you go.
So maybe it's just this like subconscious obsession with her cats.
Well, thank you very much to you and Ren for taking time to join us today. And before we go, where can people find you on social media if you would like to be found?
On Instagram, you can find me at Kelly Giggler. And and if you want to find me on Facebook, I'm in quite a few Peloton Facebook groups. My name is Kelly Ann Backus, so you can find me there.
And where can we find Ren's Instagram?
He just is primarily featured on my own.
Okay.
After we end this recording portion, if you want to share your address, I can send you our Christmas card, because he is the star of the show on that too. So
yeah, we're gonna need that.
She will never say no to a cat video.
Never.
Or a picture.
No.
Yeah.
Cute animals everywhere of any kind. I send them.
agree.
I'm
I
always
agree.
happy.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
So I guess that's it for this one. What, pray tell, do you have in store for people next week?
Next week, we are going to talk to Gail Fine. And I really, really am looking forward to this conversation all about music, pop culture, and Peloton. Like, our favorite things.
It was a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Gail's a hoot.
Yes, and very connected in the music industry, so it's a fun chat.
It is.
So until then, where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. They can find me on Instagram and Twitter, and then, of course, the bike and the tread at Clip Out Crystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. Don't forget, you can find the show online at facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Clip Out. Be sure and subscribe while you're there, and sign up for our newsletter at theclipout.com. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep pedaling.
And running.
Clip in, set your